All right,
I
let's
got
do
my little
this.
Kwanzaa set up in the back. Hey, we live,
Yo,
baby.
Jay. Oh, I was gonna say, never mind. We're live. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hello, welcome to the channel. A1 Day Ones, my G's, Angel Gang. Damn, 45 people just jumped up out of nowhere. I just seen 0 to 45. So I'm here for it. Welcome everybody. Thank y'all for kicking it with us this evening. Happy Friday. Happy holidays to anybody celebrating Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. I don't want to leave nothing out, y'all. So what else do people celebrate? I don't know. But today, y'all, I'm excited. I got my sisters here with me. We at my house today, and we're talking about divine masculine energy. What's up, divine masculine? What's going on with y'all? Like, what's really good? What's really tea? Like, we're about to go in, obviously, and share our beautiful individual perspectives. But I just feel like, where are my divine masculines at? Because, I mean, we're doing it for y'all today.
They're there. You know they're quiet.
They so like, quiet.
They're like 10 out of the 45.
Yeah, they're so quiet. They're the first thumbs up, I bet you. They're always the first thumbs up. But
they're just waiting to see if we drag them.
Absolutely.
I know. We're not going to drag you.
We're not. Today, I don't think this is not a for filth type of day. I don't think it is, right? It's not a for filth, is it?
Well, it's not just that. We're speaking of masculine energy from a universal perspective, right? So when we're talking masculine energy, we're tapping into the law of polarity and the law of gender. So it's not about we're trying to not practice the self-hate. We're trying to practice self-love. So dragging masculine energy at this point would be still us displaying lack of love of self. So let's try not to drag masculine, because guys, you, regardless of your gender, you are balanced in masculine, feminine energy. And within the masculine, feminine energy, hence the yin and the yang, is each other's. So that's why I said the law of polarity is opposites are identical in nature, just different in degree. And that is also the divine feminine, masculine. So feminine energy has a lot of what we're talking about within the masculine energy. And then when we talk about the feminine energy, there's going to be this mirroring to the masculine because they encompass each other. But anyways, yes.
So just like Des said, like, although we are discussing divine masculine, this doesn't have anything to do with genitalia, right? We all have an inner masculine and an inner feminine energy, whether you want to acknowledge it or whether you're even aware of it. Some people just aren't even aware of it, right? It's not a matter of them not wanting to accept it, but you don't even realize like which energy you be operating in from time to time and which energy is being called, to be used in these moments of time. So me personally, you guys, especially if you are A1 Day One, you guys already know, like, we hustle, gang. Like we know how to get it, how we live, and we work smart. We try our best not to work hard over here on this side. And I strongly feel like I equate that more so to my inner divine masculine, my ability to get money, my ability to hustle, my ability to physically manifest shit. As a result of, even if my feminine thought it up and spiritually conjured it first and foremost, I feel like a lot of us feminines don't realize that sometimes our beautiful work ethic, sometimes our hustle and our refusal to give up on ourselves and on our dreams and our goals, that has a lot to do with that inner divine masculine energy. And I do strongly feel like in the manifestation process, femininity has her place. You know what I'm saying? One day Mama D was doing a live and she was like, and then my feminine will take it and expand this shit. We have our place. We really do in regards to manifestation process, but can we clap it up for the divine masculine? Because I think that everything that we fucking see around us, civilization wise, structure wise, all of these things that have been put into place that allows us to move into new earth, divine masculine kind of did this shit. He really did. And I know for a fact that there is an absence of feminine energy on this planet, but I believe that everything happens for a reason. And I think that it's beautiful what the past hundreds of years or thousands of years has showed us in regards to the power and the force and the capability of masculinity. If they really put their minds to something, they know how to really pull it through or come through for whatever it is that they conjure up. So masculines to me are very logical, whereas feminines to me are very spiritual or intuitive. And I believe that the right side of the body, please correct me if I'm wrong, sistrins, the right side of the brain is the more logical side, or the more masculine side of the body, versus the left side of the body being the more feminine side and the more intuitive side of the body. So sometimes I feel like in life, you have to be practical. You know, you can't always be spiritual. And that is where masculine energy comes into place, where, you know, you have to balance out this spiritual life and this practical life. And you have to ultimately just make it make sense sometimes, because it's not always going to be intuitive based on your spiritual journey. It's really not. It's going to come a time where you're going to have to apply the knowledge that you've learned. In this age of Aquarius, you guys, knowledge is readily available to everybody. So the fact that we can Google everything, knowledge is no longer powerful if everybody has access to it. I feel like the divine masculine energy allows us to apply everything that our feminine cultivates, wisdom-wise, knowledge-wise, and then make it make sense, or tangibly, physically create it so that way it's visible and people can actually see what was conjured in the mind to begin with. So I wanted to ask Mama D her perspective, because she has like a beautiful perspective about how the masculine operates, and then like we've just said, her feminine takes it and expands this shit and makes it bigger and better and brighter. So Mama D, can you tell us what your relationship with your inner divine masculine looks like sometimes?
I think it's been a journey, hasn't it? So it's been, most importantly, it's been about unlearning, you know, unlearning the toxic masculinity, the patriarchal masculinity, because I feel like I have no real I didn't really have a relationship with my masculine energy, so to speak. I mean, yes, I was getting things done, but I think it was more fight or flight than it was my masculine energy. So I feel like what I've had to do in this process of ascension is first of all educate myself on exactly what it is that this masculine, this sacred masculine energy is, and then slowly start to unlearn some of the things that I thought were masculine. Because it, again, both you beautiful ladies have said that this is a balance of the two. So we are talking about, you know, this masculine energy complementing this feminine energy, so to speak. So I feel like I not just saw something, but when we talk about masculine and feminine, we're also talking about negative and positive. So like in everything that we know, we say like a battery has a negative element, it has a positive element. The positive element is actually the masculine energy, and the negative energy is actually the feminine energy. And what the feminine energy does is that the feminine energy does most of the work. Feminine energy does most of the rotation. So the masculine energy, as much as we feel like it's the one that it gets things done and what in nature, it's the feminine energy that rotates around the masculine energy in order to cause a motion, in order to cause a thing. So one can't really work without the other. So masculine energy to me is more to do with finding that complement. I'm still in the process. I can't like, I'm struggling now even to say, oh, what is my divine masculine energy and what has it done for me, other than, like you say, it makes sure that there's money in this house. It makes sure that, you know, I'm able to action all of the ideas, all of the feminine energy ideas that I want to execute. But if I'm totally honest with the collective, I'm still figuring it out. I really, really am. I'm sitting here hoping to get schooled and educated. But it's also another thing to mention that the masculine energy is also known as the light energy, the high priestess. The high priest is the light energy, and it's the feminine energy, which is the dark energy. So again, it's understanding in the archetypes of the masculine, we see things like the sun, you know, something that gives life to all things. I think as well, like, again, like I said, I'm still learning. So it's like, you know, I was taught that it was the feminine energy that gave life to all things. It's the feminine energy that can give birth to all things, but essentially it's the sun that cultivates and allows everything to grow through the light of the sun. And I feel like, again, this is why this is a beautiful time to be alive, because we are witnessing the birth of both the dark and the light simultaneously. So guys, please help me out with my masculine energy, because I know that my toxic masculine energy was a man them. You get me? But then I'll be sitting around with all the man them, banning all the weed them. We weren't doing shit. So really, we were, how masculine were we being? You know what I mean? I can fight, man. I can, you know, but does that make me masculine, or does that just make me strong and able to protect myself? You know, so I'm still learning the whole concept. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity to grow with both of my sisters and also the collective, in terms of how we are learning and cultivating what it actually is to be a sacred masculine. And I've just come back from watching The Matrix 4. You guys, if you want to really deeply understand the energy of the masculine right now in this time, obviously there's a lot of talk about the rebirth of the divine feminine and the rise of the divine feminine, but there's very little, in my opinion, very little spoken about the sacred masculine outside of these twin flame sacred connections. Really and truly, it was the sacred masculine, like I feel like Jazz said, that paved the way, that made it a safe space for the divine feminine to do her rebirth. I think I said it in a reading a few weeks back. The divine masculine is now going to take a different kind of energy, and it's going to protect the Capricorn's going to protect the Cancer energy, so that it can give birth to itself. Do you see? So in the movie, I don't want to do any spoilers, but there was a huge emphasis on Neo having to step up to the plate to allow Trinity to be reborn. And that's the basic analogy that I got from the movie. So that it is interesting to watch and observe exactly what it is that the masculine energy is called to do at this time. I spoke loads and I don't know what I said.
You're on mute, Desi. Introduce us to your masculine. You're still on mute, sissy. Unmute you. Unmute it.
Right. Thank you for catching me, because I could have gone like half an hour doing that. So my masculine energy, shout out to my masculine energy, because first and foremost, it was the creator and my ancestors that raised my masculine energy. I didn't have a solid masculine example. And I believe a reason for that was so that I could expand outside of an ideal of what masculinity and what a man was. I had no choice but to seek a higher masculine, because I didn't have my own father to idolize and to see as being the epitome of what a man is. So shout out to my masculine energy for being able to create an empire and honor. Essentially, my masculine energy has been the better man in many situations dealing with men. And it was my divine connection to God that got my masculine energy to live in a certain type of integrity, meaning my soul has to move a certain way. My morals, my values, the Hierophant energy, my belief systems, and my masculine energy had a lot of struggle, you know, being faced with actual men. And so shout out to my masculine energy for being the better man many, many times. But like Mama D was saying, there are light and shadow aspects to the masculine, like there are to every other part of the soul, including the feminine and the inner child. So there's healing that's required for all parts of the soul because there's ascension that is required. So my toxic masculine was very mandemish and always had something to prove. And I feel like I've done a lot of healing surrounding that. My masculine energy has built my wildest dreams, meaning an empire, you know? But really what I want to talk to you guys about when it comes to masculinity is some other things. You guys probably, I know we're at Jazz's house, but I know Angel Gang knows my masculine energy. They've seen it ascend and become less toxic, and I'm proud of it. But I wanted to talk about a couple of things surrounding masculinity in a general concept. So first off, I want to read this. Just bear with me, guys. I tried to be more prepared this time. Okay, so the law of gender. What is the law of gender? The law of gender is similar to the law of polarity. It is about opposites. Where the law of polarity is about opposites of anything and everything, the law of gender looks at two energies, masculine and feminine. Everything in the world has a masculine and feminine. Everything is masculine and feminine. The most commonly viewed and probably well-known way to look at this is the yin and the yang. The yin is the feminine energy and the yang is the masculine. They both are intertwined, making a whole being. That's when you hear that concept of coming into union with self, which we project in our community outside of us by coming into union with a divine partner. Try to understand through the laws why that would be impossible if you didn't come into union with self, since it's a reflection of so within, so without, right? That's why this journey of divinity and coming into true union with a divine partner is so difficult. And it sounds good in theory, but there's all these initiations and work that one would have to do internally to be able to reflect that and be an energetic vibrational match to the universe for that in another human being. Okay. But look closely, within the feminine lies a small dot of masculine, and within the masculine lies a small dot of feminine, representing that both the masculine and feminine are present in the masculine and the feminine. It is in everything. Okay, so I just wanted to clarify that. And then yin energy, being feminine energy, is negative. Like Mama D was saying, feminine, passive, intuitive, dark, night, cold, slow, moon, and autumn and winter. Okay. And then, so then there's this energy. It's almost like, it's like a channeled message about presently some of the challenges that masculine energy has in the collective right now. And it's surrounding coming out of this alpha energy. A lot of our masculine energy strived for this alpha position, expression. But if you really study the personality types, okay, so beta, sigma, alpha, omega, all these, when it comes to sigma and alpha, they're both actually par. The difference is, which what many masculines, regardless of gender, are struggling with, is coming out of the alpha and moving into the sigma. And the difference is the alpha strives to make it to the top of a hierarchy. This hierarchy that the masculine energy, for how God knows how many hundreds of years, have been trying to attain, is crumbling down. So a lot of masculines are moving into the sigma, where that same dominance, that resilience, that dominant energy that alpha has is still there, because there's no difference in their domination, their dominant energy, or ability to be able to conquer and control. There is no difference. The sigma just doesn't seek to do it within. The sigma seeks outside of hierarchy. The sigma doesn't want to be trapped with some hierarchy. An example of that is, think about your workplace. Think about working up the ranks. I want to become the manager, and then the director, and then the VP, and then the general manager. The sigma seeks outside of that hierarchy, but still has a need to achieve and grow and ascend. It's just not capped by a hierarchy. So many of us are struggling. Our masculine energy it has reached the peak. did what the matrix said we needed to do to get to the top of whatever you were drawn to get to the top of. But what happens when you get to the top and you realize it doesn't make you as happy, or it's not as fulfilling, or the view isn't as great up there? You evolve into the Sigma, which is where you seek outside of that and you create your own structure, which is the true essence of the masculine energy, being initiated to try to make it to the top of a structure that was already created, to creating a structure of their own that is essentially the reflection of the foundation of which is their spiritual ascension journey. Learning how to truly be a leader, truly build a business, but a business, any business you work for or that exists is a reflection of the morals and values of and belief system of the person who created it and the people who function it. This is being challenged collectively right now. Masculine energies are breaking the fuck out of it. They're challenging hierarchies, going, yeah, but wait, my emperor energy, which is a boss, a leader, and a business owner, isn't feeling that, doesn't think that's the way it has to be or it should. And it's going to create, coming into union, it's going to put masculine energy into this creative space. Why? Because they want to create their own hierarchy. So what would the masculine need in order to get into that space? That small dot, which is the feminine energy that lies within. Masculines, you don't need a woman to live out feminine energy, no different than a woman needs a man to live that out. It's about living that out from within. Anyways, I'm done. But wait, one more thing. Feminine, masculine energy. Masculine is discipline. Where I had a reading with Mama D, and Mom, I know I told you, but you helped me make a shift. You pushed me. And I thank you, yo. I needed you. I really needed you. But one of the pivotal things in the reading I had with Mom, okay, because by the way, guys, both of these ladies do personal readings. I'm not, but both of them do, and they're both fantastic. I get readings from both, and they're the only two that I let read me. But that's a side note. I'm not going to get sassy. But masculine energy is discipline. We are being initiated with discipline. You cannot have power without discipline. And what's the polarity to discipline? It's freedom. You cannot even have freedom without discipline. Freedom can kill you without it. So it's about really balancing. This is what true union energy is about. Guys, you do this soul work, you're going to have your divine masculines, feminines. You're going to have all of that, your family. You're going to have all these things. All these things will come. Don't even worry about that. Don't stress about these things. Union, all that. Think about how your life lacks luster because of you not being in union. Think of how much it hurts within you being codependent over someone because you value their traits in them and not in yourself. Feminines, do you know how your masculine energy feels when you looked at other masculines and gave yourself to them? When your masculine energy goes, what the fuck, and who are they? I told you, feminines, enough of you, your masculine energy was the better man. Oh, and masculines, don't get it fucking twisted. I see enough of you guys raise your fucking youths better than enough feminines. Cultivate, grow, nurture. You were the better moms. Enough of you, I seen you with my eyes and got dogged out and got lost custody of your kids same fucking way. So, yo, that's my take. I'm going to mute the shit.
God damn, Destiny, she just gonna drop the fucking mic after this.
I told you my masculines want to demand them.
She just went in. Okay, my inner masculine just got hot listening to you. I had something that I wanted to read, you guys. My inner divine masculine really resonates with Destiny per se in regards to not having representation to mimic or to mock or to role model myself behind. And I do feel like it sucks sometimes when you are cultivating or developing your relationship with your masculine energy and you really don't know where to start. I want to talk about the wounded masculine really quick. I'm going to leave it to my sistrins to touch base on the toxic masculine because I feel like they're going to do that shit some justice. But I want to talk about the wounded masculine because he don't get enough. He don't get enough. Yeah, can we love on him, send him some energetic distance Reiki or something. He don't get enough, y'all, because this world don't even create like a safe space for that wounded masculine to be wounded, to be human, to have trauma, to have pain. So I have wrote something, and I think it was from like my inner masculine inner child, and it's going on like 2 years old, but I feel like it can definitely resonate with some people who felt like they had to learn that masculine energy early on in life, and now they've reached this part of life where they kind of resent that masculine energy a little bit now. It's like, damn, like I didn't even ask to do it like this, but yet I had to do it like this. And now it's to the point where it's like, what does that energy serve in your now moment when you've spent so long identifying with it? And is it actually serving any purpose in your now moment? You know, because you've been operating within that shit for so long. So I kind of wrote, some men run away from their responsibilities because they were pressured to be a man during the time when they should have been a boy. And now that society deems them old enough to be a man, they want to be a boy. Most people won't understand the psychological blocks and barriers that exist when a man recalls the fact that the last time he tried to be a man, he failed. How many of us growing up, you guys, had to fucking be breadwinners, had to fucking work early, had to fucking be the father that was absent in the household? How many of us had to step into these shoes and fill these shoes when, my nigga, I wear a size 6 and that's a size 9? Like, real shit. You know what I'm saying? And I feel that shit because a huge part of my masculine energy is wounded. It's wounded because it's tired. And it feels as if almost that it had to do certain shit that it really didn't want to do. And then when it wakes up every day, it's still doing the same shit. So it's like, how did we get here? How did we get here? So even if he was only 13 and not equipped to take on certain responsibilities, the emotional scars are still there. The trauma is still there. The pain of disappointing those you love is still there. And instead of having a community around you that is there and willing and ready to support you, those men are met with judgment, ridicule, unforgiveness, and the system built to hang you for being fucking human, for feeling human. We are genuinely living in a world that doesn't care about what men feel or what men have experienced, only concerned with whether or not you can step out on the field and fucking perform. Let the change begin here, because kings, y'all have stories to tell. Y'all have tears that need to be shed, and y'all have generational curses that need to be broken as well, because what we expect of masculine energy should not be an expectation. How do we expect them to do something that don't really come second nature to them? It doesn't really come easy to them, but yet our expectations are placed upon them. And when there was an absence of genuine masculine energy in the household, in the family structure, in the relationship, you'll notice that that wounded masculine energy usually steps up to the plate and ends up taking the brunt of that burden. We just be honestly, when it comes to our inner masculines, learning as we go along. And I feel like we need to be nicer sometimes to our inner divine masculines. We have to be more compassionate towards our inner divine masculines, because genuinely, y'all, we don't have it all figured out sometimes, but the world does not stop expecting them to. The world will never stop expecting the divine masculine to keep going with or without the proper procedures and blueprint laid out before them. So I say this to say, if you have a masculine, whether it's your lover or your son, hug them tighter because they need it sometimes, y'all. Kiss them longer because they need it sometimes. And these divine masculines are not bred to ask for that longer hug or to ask for that longer kiss. They don't even know how to begin psychologically to express that level of emotion because they don't even identify with their own pains and their own traumas and their own wounding sometimes. The world laughs at a masculine who speaks of these things, and it's fucked up, right? Because while they kept the world going, we sat here and we pulled down all of the higher consciousness that's needed for them to do what? Physically keep the world going. When do they get to get in tune? When do they get to sit down and tap in and heal and deal and do all of these beautiful things that femininity is allowed to do in this now moment, you know? I wanted to bring up the wounded masculine because he don't get enough love sometimes. That's why if you got one, hug him longer. He's not going to ask you for the extra 5 seconds. That don't mean that he don't need it, though. You know what I'm saying? hug him longer. Sometimes my inner divine masculine wanted to be seen. Having to be a breadwinner at such a young age, yo, I just wanted some fucking accolades. I wanted a pat on the back. I wanted somebody to feel like, yo, I see you, just bust that shift, yo, thank you. But some people expected that shit from me at 13, 14, 15, 16, that nobody really knew what type of wounding I was cultivating, and what type of resentment I started to have towards masculinity for not being what I felt like it needed to be to alleviate the type of responsibilities that I had. So some feminines have this underlying resentment because you had to operate in an aspect of your soul that you really didn't ask to or want to. And now we have to heal that from the inside out too, y'all. We really
Jazz, can I just take a moment? Because I know you're super modest. It's that Virgo energy. Can we take a moment to acknowledge your divine masculine energy for everything it's done at such a very young age? We're talking empire foundation. You take care of a household of people, you know?
I love y'all so.
And we're at your house, and your tribe should know that your masculine energy, it's very fitting, and there is no coincidence why we're doing divine masculine segment at Jazz's home.
I was so excited when I found out too. I was like, what? This is a man's world. It's like, no, let me stop. I woke up.
When you told me you woke up from your nap, this is a man's. I died at Canadian Tire. I died.
Yeah, I woke up from my nap earlier just blurting, this is a man's world. I don't know why, but it wouldn't be nothing without a what? Without a woman. So I'm just saying, polarity. I want to pass this to Mama. I'm going to pass it.
I want to talk about we talk about the obvious wounds of the masculine, but I want to talk about the expression of the masculine. So, like, for me, I grew up as a tomboy. So, and that actually came from the healing we've been doing, girls, in this thing has been unbelievable, because I came away from that inner child healing with so many things swirling around. And my mum used to tell me that I only used to wear trousers. If you tried to put me in a dress, I would scream down the place, and I would cause a problem. So she just dressed me in trousers. But thinking about it deeper, I was like, did that happen because I was abused very, very young, so I just wanted to be protected by these trousers? Or like, this was a deep thing for me. So again, the reason why I'm talking about this tomboy business is because it's been very, all right, 100 years ago, women couldn't wear trousers, fair. But we are here now. So 100 years ago, women couldn't wear trousers, but men wore heels and makeup and wigs and beauty spots and all the things. So it's like, where are we now with our expression of our masculine energy? What does that even look like? Because it's okay. I could go out in a 3-piece suit with a bow tie and brogues and a bowler hat. Nobody wouldn't bat an eyelid. If anything, they would call me fly. But if a masculine wanted to demonstrate his feminine energy in whatever is deemed feminine, we have labels for them. We have a level of judgment for these energies. And I'm saying, if we are truly getting into this balance of masculine and feminine energy, we have to accept the masculine expressing femininity in however they please to do so. And I'm here as an advocate for that. I want it so that, I mean, it was difficult for me. I had to learn, and I had to learn the hard way, because as a hairdresser, I moved around a lot, and I went to a client's home, and she has 2 children, a girl and a boy. The girl has been a tomboy since birth. She's always wanted to just, plait her hair down, put a cap on and jeans and just roll around. Her younger brother, though, took a liking to Frozen. So he's got frozen dresses. He's got Elsa dresses and all of the things. So you can imagine when this 3-year-old stepped out and with his Elsa dress, I was like, I clutched my pearls because I was like, are you okay with that, sis? Like, in our community as well, I was like, what is going on here? And she explained to me that that's what he likes to do. That's what he likes to wear. But I'm thinking, just because he likes it, why would you let him? This is what Spirit did. There's an artist called Emanike. I'm sure he wouldn't mind me talking about him. He's been doing great, especially in the UK, but I don't know how he's doing in the States, in America. But if you Google him, you're going to see my boy. He's a musician. He's Nigerian. He's 6'4", and he's a pretty big guy. And at the time he had locks when I started working with him. So we started working with his locks, and then he made an album, and then he had to make music videos, and he got himself a team. And in this team was a makeup artist, somebody for the clothes, and me as the hairdresser. And we made him up to the nines, full beat, you know, the hair was laid and the outfits, wow. And one time we did a gig in a really popular venue in London, and he was in this blue sequin shoulder pads number, and he had all gold in his hair, and he had a full beat on, and he turned around to me and said, Mandisa, do I look ridiculous? And I said, you look like a pharaoh. And that was the end of that. That was the end of that. That's when my shift happened, to be able to accept the masculine expressing his feminine in a very feminine way. So I just wanted to open up a space for the masculines to let them know that as you do come more into union with your feminine energy, because it's the feminine energy that causes the balance, and it's the masculine energy that causes the balance within the feminine. When you do start to really explore that, and you find that maybe you want to do something that's deemed extra feminine, or wear something that's extra feminine, you go right ahead and do that, boo-boo. You go right ahead and do that, and we'll continue to celebrate you and protect you. And that's all I want to say about that. That's it. I'm going to turn my mic off now. One of you girls, take it now. Take it away.
Drop that shit. Dusty, I would love to hear a little bit about your journey with some of the more toxic masculinity that you ladies had slightly touched base on. Share what you feel comfortable sharing.
So definitely sexually, very toxic, low vibrational sex. But also when it came to antisocial behavior. So there's the law of gender even lives in that, as it lives in everything. And with antisocial behavior, they say that masculine energy typically will live out antisocial behavior by violence, way of violence, where feminine energy will typically do it by self-sabotage, sabotaging of themselves or others. And I can definitely identify to how my masculine energy lived out its own antisocial behavior by choosing violence, because every time I choose, what better way to get people to stay away from you, or to push people away, or to isolate yourself, than to live out that darkness and use it like a tool and a weapon against people. So it's like, those are the two ways I would definitely say right off of the top of my head, my masculine energy lived out its toxic ways. And it also, I'll be honest, this is gonna sound kind of fucked up, but like I had a vision a couple years ago of like the divine was trying to explain to me like how my own masculine energy sold out my own feminine energy. And I couldn't understand. And then I got this vision of like my feminine energy. This could be actually a trigger warning. This could trigger some of you, but the divine showed me how I allowed certain men, I gave my feminine, my masculine energy, gave men, certain masculines, my feminine, like almost like trading. I need this man. I like this man. I want to, my masculine energy somehow looked up to this man as an idea of what a man should be. There was something, it was like my masculine energy sold out my feminine, and it was part of the healing that the divine was trying to trigger me to do with my feminine energy. Between, like, they're out of union, and there's reasons why. And part of the reasons why my own masculine and feminine energy are out of union is how I've perpetuated that lack of trust. Like, my feminine energy doesn't trust my masculine energy to protect her in certain situations. And then I just projected that externally by actually manifesting men and trying to come into union with them only, or making myself available to them, even though I know I don't trust them, or feeling like they kind of sold me out or used me or took advantage of me. But it was just a reflection of the dynamic between my own inner masculine, feminine energy. And then I'll be honest, like when my masculine energy like understood that, there was a lot of guilt and devastation. And then like, my masculine energy kind of lost its power in a sense. It felt disempowered, understanding how it had been dealing with my feminine energy and the resentment my own feminine energy had towards my own masculine energy. And I'm telling you, my karmic relationships are just a reflection of this internal dynamic and wounding, which was passed down through the bloodline hereditarily and through the pathology.
That's super deep. And as you were talking, I just watched how many people who resonated with you confirm exactly what you just said. And whether I think that feminine energies do this consciously, I think a lot of us may have done this subconsciously, you know what I'm saying, without even realizing it, not realizing the necessity of integration in those moments, and how, without that realization, those energies, these parts of our soul, they start to operate alone when they're supposed to be operating in unison. So that was deep, and we honor you and thank you for sharing that. I wanted to also touch base on the Ankh, the ancient Egyptian Ankh, really quick, and how, I know we're all accustomed to the Christian cross, but that is masculine on masculine. That is very unequivalent, because there is a lack of feminine energy present in that symbol. But when you look at the ancient Egyptian Ankh, you guys, you have the womb that sat on top, and then you had the phallus that sat on the bottom, because I do believe that feminine energy is the garden and masculine energy is the seed. So can we really get a harvest without one or the other? No, we can't. We need both. We really do. So in regards to masculine energy, sometimes that is what you're planting, and your feminine energy is how you harvest it. So just, power and perspective, how you can work with these parts of your soul a little bit differently, or how you can identify with these parts of your soul. You need a seed in order for you to begin to water it and nurture it and care for it, and then eventually reap the benefits of what you've planted. So everything starts with that seed. And I feel like that is very, very pivotal of what masculine energy is in this world. They're walking around here constantly planting seeds, but it's always with the level of consciousness that they have at the moment. So it is feminine's energy's job, or per se duty, to constantly evolve the consciousness. So what's physically playing out in front of us now is always going to be directly correlated to how we perceive ourselves, the belief systems we have, the level of consciousness that we've chosen to develop, and things of that nature. So, both of these aspects, although they divide us in humanity, we need to figure out how we can eliminate that level of separation, because gender is fluid, believe it or not. And that's why we all have these energies. with or without the genitalia to match, you know what I'm saying, the energy that's presenting itself to you. So I also wanted to say that the integration that happened with my masculine energy, it also helped me become more comfortable with my sexuality. A lot of people, without the realization that that type of masculine energy resides or lives on the inside of them, you know, you become very, very confused about certain feelings and urges and sensations and emotions that you might feel towards the same sex or even the opposite sex sometimes, believe it or not. So I'm here to let everybody know that in regards to your masculine energy, you'll notice that when you begin to work with it and integrate it, you might have a lot of different emotions, and your emotional system might be regulated differently now because you're not doing this from a linear perspective anymore, from just a feminine perspective anymore. There is going to be a lot of changes and transformations that occur simultaneously just through recognition of your masculine energy. And I hope what it did for me, it may do that same thing for you and allow you to embody more of an androgynous human experience versus a separated, unequal type of playing field. Let's be real. So
I just wanted to say as well, as you was talking about sexual energy, Jazz, how important it is for males to retain their semen at times. This helps with your God, and this is your seed, your God energy. Having, like Destiny was saying, discipline. It's the discipline of learning the practices of being these divine energies, because there has to be a discipline in this. And one of the disciplines I feel that the masculine males have to really, really learn is to how to retain their semen and not every time bust a nut, because you're actually depleting your God energy, you're depleting your divinity by just splurting that out every however often y'all do that. 'Cause I don't know. So it's just interesting that, and also learning. I know Jasmine can go a lot more in depth with this about tantric sex. It's about the type of sex that you're having, you know, divine sex over ego-based sex is the option of the divine masculine. He's not just going to have sex with anybody because he understands the sacred uh, connection between sexual partners. He also understands that he has a responsibility because he's also a carrier of energy, you know. So if the masculine is constantly having sex with several partners, they themselves are depleting themselves by taking on the energy of every single partner that they have sex with and then transferring that on. I mean, it's one of the worst STDs there is, you know, the energy exchange during sex. So if the masculines can, especially during the, I don't know why, but every around this time, winter time, I'm always channeled to reach out to the masculine males and ask them about semen retention, ask them to have a little bit more discipline when it comes to this aspect, because like Jasmine said, this is your seed. So be a little bit more mindful where you are planting this seed, if it needs to come outside of you. But if it doesn't, and that seed is held, we're not saying don't get aroused, we're not saying don't, you know, get stimulated, but it's the ejaculation we're talking about. And if you can retain this ejaculation, you expand your God power tenfold. That's all I wanted to say about that.
Desi, did you want to add anything?
When it comes to like sexual energy with the masculine, I just feel like really was I felt like my masculine energy, because I was abused when I was young, wanted to reclaim this sense of power sexually. But the problem is it, like, my feminine energy was still disempowered and was still oppressed by my own masculine energy and its sexual needs and ideas. And there was just this energy of feeling like I first felt very disempowered with sex, and then the way I went about going about becoming empowered with sex was in a very toxic way. And then I looked at why, and it was because I identified it was my masculine energy, and I had to really heal that. And when we talk about healing masculine energy, it's the entire collective masculine energy. You know, when you heal, there's been a lot of sorry, I felt that before it came in. But anyways, yeah, that's all I would like to add. And really just being consciously aware of your actions, what arouses you, what from what space. And if you're feeding the lower vibrational aspect of your masculine energy or the higher vibration, like what Mama D was saying, having ego-based sex feeds that lower vibrational part of you, which will actually pull you down. And having sacred union, tantric sex, whatever you want to call it, it's love-based, it's conscious sex, where you're conscious of not just your body, but the body of the person you're absorbed with, right? That you're taking energy from, but you're also giving energy to, you know. And then that will really help evolve you and inspire you. And yeah, it's really about being consciously aware. You know, sexual energy is very, very potent, and feminine energy, we'll be talking about the feminine next week, but the semen retention is the same thing. A lot of the time there's this idea, a lot of feminines are very aware that masculines have to retain their semen, or project the need for masculines to be consciously aware about who they sleep with because they might sleep with more people. Feminines, you need to be consciously aware of these things too. And when it does come to like things like masturbation and stuff, you have to really think about what you're thinking. If we can have spirit husbands, who's to say there aren't demons in the ethers trying to convince you to release your energy to them. So when it comes to sexual energy, whether masculine or feminine energy, really just be consciously aware. But anyways, yeah, that's it.
I also wanted to add an opinion, and I want to start by saying this is an opinion of mine. The more that you become aware of your masculine energy, the more that you start to create sisterhood and sorority, something that's been lacking amongst the circle of feminine energy. And I feel like it has a lot to do with the corner that we've kind of been backed in or placed in or forced into in regards to that more worldly feminine, that more submissive feminine, in comparison to the more sacred feminine, the more Lilith type of archetype and things of that nature. When I started to become more tapped in and more in tune with my masculine energy, some of those toxic feminine traits started to literally fly out the window because of that level of integration. I started to be able to find different type of friendships and relationships with my fellow divine feminines as a result of me integrating my inner divine masculine energy. And I think it has a lot to do with, we come into this world being taught how to show up as a feminine. And 9 times out of 10, we're being taught these standards from a stance or from a place of patriarchy. And patriarchy has suppressed femininity for a reason, matriarchy for a reason, you guys. So when you start to get in tune with your inner divine masculine, you start to redefine your own feminine ideals and principles and things of that nature. You begin to realize that if patriarchy can sit at a table and break bread with one another and build empires and civilizations, why the fuck are we looking at this one man and we jealous of one another because it is one man, and we don't have this type of camaraderie camaraderie and sorority and sisterhood like patriarchy has, you guys. It's something to look into. I feel like our inner masculine energy allows us to sit at the table with our fellow feminines and our fellow sisters and be able to see how we can put our heads together, unify ourselves back together, and really begin to redefine what femininity looks like and means to us personally, and not just the way that it serves patriarchy in general. So that is an opinion. I don't know if really integrating my masculine started that, or if it was just time for me to realize that there's a lot of toxic femininity within Divine Feminine Collective. And until we realize that, until we acknowledge that, we love to call out toxic masculinity. I know it exists. I know it's there. But we have that shit too. And I feel like we, as we heal one aspect, we have to delve into the next one eventually, you guys. So I know feminine energy is for next week, and we'll be doing that at Desi's house. But in light of toxic masculinity, you guys, can we acknowledge that there's toxicity on both polarities, on both gender spectrums, on both sides? It really is. And the more aware, go ahead, Des. Yeah.
Sorry, can you just block? There's a clown in your chat. Sorry. Can you just block them? But so that's why, just to go, because a lot of you guys in the tarot spiritual community, you can now maybe understand a little bit where this idea is very toxic about thinking that you're waiting for the masculine to catch up to the feminine energy. It goes to what Jazz is saying about needing to heal both and understanding that both live within you. Okay, because a lot of people are drawn to the tarot community, and a lot of what they're projecting is actually the healing that needs to occur from within. So I just wanted to kind of bring that a little back to the community, that we essentially all learn to know each other from. So yes.
I just wanted to add to that. First of all, ladies, can you turn your mics off? Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. When Jazz was talking about, you know, our masculine energies allowing us to sit with our sisters, this is the balance of, this is the logical side of us. When we're coming in together now, we're not emotional. You know, we're allowing, there's a place for our emotions, and it's not when we are trying to build. It's not when we are trying to come together to unite, you know. So I think that that is a great testimony to the people that are doing the work, showing, especially the Divine Feminine Collective doing the work and being able to truly balance their masculine energy by allowing the logic to come forward before the emotions, by allowing the actions to come forward before the self-sabotage. You know, this is a level of discipline that we're all learning. And you know, as I say in the prayer, united we are, was it divided we are weak, united we are victorious. You know, if we as a collective, because it's going to take all of us, this is a village exercise. You know, this is for all of us, because it's not going to work if some do it and some don't. We all have to get into this balance. So that's why I feel that it's important for the sisterhoods, the sororities, the covenants to come together at this time, also to help each other support the masculine, you know, because we are notorious feminines for coming together and talking about how not shit our masculines are, but we have to now come together and start to uplift our masculines. You know, even if one of our sisters is having a hard time with the masculine, pulling her back to unconditional love, pulling her back to compassion, you know, because it's very easy. Another thing that we love to do as well is the you know, we're not talking about directly these connections, but it's the running chasing. It happens within us. You know, this runner chaser dance happens within our own energies, between the masculine and the feminines, you know, so between the masculine and the feminine energy. So if we can come together as sisters, as as the feminines to help support each other in how it is we support our masculines, because some are better at it than others. You know, some have had more practice than others. So this is why we need to speak a lot more about how we lift up our masculine and stop looking at the problem and paying more attention to the solution as how we can support, be more loving and compassionate towards the masculine energy within as well as without.
I love that. I love that, Mama D. I know everybody probably read the title and thought we was going to drag divine masculine, but this was such a beautiful ass uplifting moment for masculine energy. And I just wanted to say that if you are currently dealing with a toxic masculine, if you're dealing with a karmic masculine, your solution and your resolution, we bitches got to stop enabling these motherfuckers, period. And the day that we decide to stop putting up with certain shit is the day that they decide to stop doing certain shit. If we stop tolerating certain behaviors and certain actions and certain bullshit and fuckery, ladies, best believe that they're going to start coming to us a little differently and they're going to clean up their act. But if I don't tolerate it, and then my sister, and then her best friend, and then her auntie and her niece do, these niggas ain't going to stop doing this dumb shit. They really not. So,
and who teaches you not to accept that shit?
Your inner masculine. Like shit.
It ain't Eve, it's fucking Lilith.
So I know y'all wanted us to drag these niggas and talk about some of their ways, but can we all identify with the fact that people only do what you allow them to do, y'all? If you've been dealing with the same old, you've been dealing with the fucking the whole nine, and it just comes back to you boomeranged in different people, different cycles, different phases. Switch up on their ass. Stop tolerating the same shit. Put your foot down, set some boundaries, and realize how you switch the vibration that's now attracted to you, because that person that's attracted to you knows that you enable them. And they know that you forgive them. They know that you see the God in them. They know that you stay. They know that you do all these things. So now you just got to switch the vibe up on their ass. And you will attract differently from that point forward. So like sis said, you attract what you are, you guys. So we're not going to drag divine masculine, because half of these masculines are only doing to you what you allow them to do. Period. And that's why you be big mad when you go see the next bitch that didn't allow the shit, get the ring and the babies in the house and all that other shit. Period. It ain't her fault. And it ain't his fault.
It ain't her fault. It ain't Lilith's fault. Lilith was just in the motherfucking wilderness. It wasn't her fault.
This bitch is sitting at home giving him straight up peace and sweet nothings while your ass was argumentative and doing all this other shit, because there was a disconnect. The shit that you were enabling and tolerating couldn't allow you to provide him with a safe haven, a safe space, or a peace of fucking mind. So now, guys, we have to be more accountable with what we're allowing to come into our lives, and then realize the part that we're playing in regards to wanting people to change. How the fuck he's supposed to change when you sitting here letting him give it up however the fuck he feel like it today and tomorrow? Like, real shit, y'all. So we not here to drag them. Even if it is their fault, I'd rather, and I encourage y'all to blame yourselves always, so you never put the power in your oppressor's hands to help you with your healing. So it's my fault even when it's not my fault. Period.
But we need to come out of blame. We have to, because if it's not our fault, it's their fault. If it's not their fault, it's our fault. And I'm just saying this because I'm channeling all this shit about, I've worked so hard to come to this point of forgiveness. And then the divine's like, forgiveness is an illusion. I'm like, what? They're like, well, if you accept yourself and others, what the fuck is there to forgive? I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, I've been on this journey for 20 years to get fucking forgiveness, but here we are. But anyways.
Don't get me started on forgiveness. The channel knows how the fuck I feel about forgiveness.
We should do a whole video just about forgiveness, because it's a hot topic in the community, right? And we should. Well, we're coming to the end of our series, so we're going to be doing a new series.
I'm excited. We're at Jackie's house. Angel Gang. Meet us next Friday between 4 and 5 p.m. Y'all notice that
feminines, bring your bosoms.
We gave y'all the time. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know exactly what time we be jumping on, but it's around that time between 4-ish and 5-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you to my favorite witches for kicking it with me this evening. I love y'all, soul sisters, so much. Everything that y'all bring to this platform, everything that y'all bring to my spirit, to my heart, I'm grateful, humbly, and honored to do this with you ladies. So I love
We
y'all.
love you, Jazz. We love it here. Okay. And guys, bring your bosoms, big or small.
And can I,
all right? Because we're talking about divine feminine energy. We're wrapping up this series, and it's gonna be a lot. But yes.
Mama D, I heard you saying something. Was you saying something, Mama?
Also, guys, collective, go watch yourself a documentary. Go watch yourself Matrix 4, yeah? Go and watch yourself a documentary. And you know what I discovered in this film as well? Trinity is Lilith. Trinity is Lilith. She's been Lilith, and Trinity's Lilith. I'm
Mom,
telling you.
Okay, not to go off topic here. So I'm studying palmistry, right? I was looking up, I found something, and it's this. So I found the sign for Lilith. Who the fuck is Selena?
Girl, don't ask me. Selena.
It's the same sign, but it's not dark. So remember the story of Lilith descending down in that big beef that she had in hell with her sister? Is Selena Lilith's sister?
Could be.
So that means, because I watched a documentary about Eve, and they said that sisters split Africa. One tribe stayed, and there's only one tribe that ever left Africa, which is supposed to be all of us. All of civilization is literally derived from this one fucking tribe. I wonder if those sisters have to do with this. Maybe. So maybe we do a Lilith part 2. But anyways, sorry, man.
Definitely.
I don't think we can get enough of Lilith. None of us. We can't get enough.
None of us.
There's so much more to the story and to the mystery. We need a Marvel on Lilith. Like,
honestly. But yeah, guys, thank you for your schooling of the mama and getting a better understanding of what this masculine energy really is, and what it is, what work I still need to do in order to balance into it. And also masculines, you have sacral chakras too. So remember to do your sacral work in order to get rid of the resentment and the pain and your traumas that you've been working through as well. And you can do that in exactly the same way. This is where you tap into your feminine energy, guys. So let's do the work. We're 1 week out of this. We're 1 week away from 2022, y'all. And we still here. So
and just one thing. So just last thing from me, I swear. My Bridget said something to me very interesting. Shout out to my Bridget Day. I'm gonna do content with her too. But she goes, I was going through some serious triggering. And I was talking to the ladies about not really realizing what these segments that we're doing actually triggers within us. So for those of you that kind of trickled in throughout the series, I really suggest, if you want to like really speed up your healing ascension or even just becoming consciously aware process, go back and watch. We did 5 segments about the 5 different dimensions. Well, we did 4. The 5th one we'll do on next Friday. And I don't know, I didn't think that it would trigger me the way it has. And yeah, I just wanted to share that this has been very, very healing, triggering, but very, very healing for me. So thank you, ladies, and thank you, gangs and crews and A1s and Gs and all that. I love you guys.
I love you, Dusty. I love you, Mama D. And I will be seeing you. I'll be knocking on the door next Friday at Queen Cup's house. So make sure y'all stay tuned.
We see you at Angel Gang HQ, y'all.
Make sure y'all
Gang
stay
HQ.
Love you guys.
Yeah, we love y'all. Have happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. I'm lighting my crowns this weekend.
Bye. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.